It's also very important to understand for influencers like us and everybody else that people like you,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
and somebody who sees me, either they have to feel like, okay, she's like me,
Yeah,
or they have to feel like I want to become like her.
true.
There are only two ways people start following you, people start liking you. Otherwise, they don't.
Yeah.
But they really don't understand how to bring people into the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to eat your food, even if you're cooking the best of the best food,
That's
right?
true.
So it's really, really important to get the right skills which is required to run a business as an entrepreneur, whether it's a small business or it's a big business. The moment I told, okay, this is not supposed to be like this is supposed to change, you don't know. You know, the whole mentality comes in. My only intention to start this was to tell their stories out to the world. Look at these women, they had the same problems,
Yeah.
okay, and they have done it,
Hmm.
and they're being recognized today. Get the inspiration and do it.
Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Safwana and you're watching Kofluence Unplugged. I'm thrilled to have a very special guest joining us today. She's a mentor for entrepreneurs, a TV personality, a public speaker, an awards founder, and the list goes on. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Spoorthi Vishwas. Welcome Spoorthi to Kofluence Unplugged. It's
Hi,
lovely hosting you.
Shafana. Thank you so much, and it's lovely to be here.
Okay, great. All right, so why don't we start by introducing yourself to our viewers? Like, as a lot of things all at once, how do you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I mean, even I find it quite difficult sometimes. But yeah, I would like to introduce myself as, an entrepreneur beyond all the other, all the other roles I handle. That's what I enjoy the most. I have two companies, an event management company and a training academy. We are proud to say that we are the only all women event management company, which means the management is run by 100% women. Okay, including the
Amazing.
design team, the on-ground team, the execution team, the sales team, the management team. The whole team is filled with women. So, and the best part is I have a training academy where we train event organizers. So most of my team members are my trained students. So that's how it is. And we have a training academy where we focus on three major things. One is event management is our core strength, and the other one is we train women on entrepreneurship, small business owners.
Yeah.
And we also train on personality skills like leadership, communication, public speaking, and all of that.
I think that's amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a very thoughtful initiative also.
Thank you.
It's great. And I'm very proud of women like you who's in the society doing greater things out there.
Thank you.
All right. So when it comes to personal branding, this jargon in itself, I would like to know, like, what do you mean by personal branding?
Well, personal branding for me is more of a way of storytelling. Okay, everybody has a story.
Yeah.
You have a story, I have a story. And how you really want to tell it out to the audience is nothing but personal brand.
Okay.
And the person who wants to create a personal brand has to really know what is the story that she or he wants to tell the story, and what is that the audience have to know about them. See, I have so many things to tell the world, but
Yeah.
it is not really necessary for me to tell out everything.
Yeah.
Right? I become the deciding factor on what is that message and what is that story I want to communicate to my audience.
All right. Got it.
Right? So basically, if you see different examples, like if you have seen Finance with Sharon, Sharon does multiple things as well, but the whole story is all about finance being his main strength, and everything revolves around that.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe Sharon also goes to a restaurant, enjoys the food, but it's not necessary to put it out there, right? So it's basically creating a brand persona and an image around you through a way of storytelling is what I believe personal branding is all about.
Got it.
Yeah.
And especially with like social media being the channel through which you are communicating with your audience, do you feel like there's like a need to balance on how much are you sharing? Like you said, you're selectively showing what you are crafting the narrative yourself. So do you think there is like a need where you draw the line between oversharing and, branding yourself as a
Yes, absolutely yes.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the limits and the boundaries becomes very important.
Okay.
See, I'm here to talk about me, and I have no judgments about anybody else who is doing something else,
Yeah.
right? Everybody knows their limits. For me, there are certain limits that I put it out, and and I believe in being as raw and as candid as possible. Okay, that doesn't mean I want to put out everything as
Yeah,
well. So
got it.
people tell me, okay, is it all rosy only? No, it's not all rosy. There are days that I can't keep telling people that okay, I sleep at 2:30 working for my company.
Okay.
Maybe some days I feel exhausted and I feel like putting a story or something like that, but it's not always rosy.
That's true.
So otherwise, on the other hand, also because I personally don't feel like doing any entertainment content on my Instagram, because that doesn't really fit my profile. And though I am really funny to be with, and my team really enjoys being around and we laugh so much, I don't project the funny side of me on Instagram, because that's not what I want to be known as.
Okay.
Right?
Got it.
And there is a very emotional side of me which nobody knows on Instagram. So there are different personalities that a person carries. You have to, I want to just be seen as what I do professionally.
Okay.
And then what I do with my only small circle of my family, that is my husband and daughter.
Okay.
And travel is another, again, my different genre that I focus on. So I work in travel industry.
Exactly.
I handle marketing for a very big travel brand.
Okay.
So, that's one of the reasons I have to talk about travel.
Okay.
Okay, so it's more related to work that I always focus on what I'm speaking on Instagram. But yes, drawing lines is very important. And, you need to be very responsible as a person who's been watched on Instagram and Facebook. You need to understand that there are a lot of people who are watching you, and there's a lot of influence that is happening through you on these minds. It could be young minds, or it could be somebody who's just sitting at a home, who's not having a job, or who's not doing business well, watching you. They should not be feeling that okay, their life is amazing, mine is not. So it's really important that you need to communicate in a very sensitive way.
That's right.
So influencers, according to me, have to become really, really sensitive about
Responsible.
such things, and to understand what is the mental state of people who are absorbing that content.
Got it.
Yeah.
And recently, what I personally have noticed is that people are a lot more open to sharing their vulnerabilities and their challenges along the way.
Which is a good change.
Which is a very good change, because usually what we used to see is that like a very polished image of themselves, and even if it's like a social media creator, or let's say it's like a TV personality, an actress or actor, they'll always have like a polished image of themselves that they are showing it out to the public. But recently we have seen like a lot of people coming across about their illness, about their mental health issues, and these are topics that were not very well spoken about.
Yeah.
And now it's coming out, so that's like a good change. So even if we are choosing to share only so much about our lives, we us also being relatable to the person at the other end of the screen, in the ways where
Absolutely.
you're sharing your vulnerabilities. I think that's also very important.
It's also very important to understand for influencers like us and everybody else that people like you.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, and somebody who sees me, either they have to feel like okay, she's like me,
Yeah,
or they have to feel like I want to become like her.
true.
There are only two ways people start following you, people start liking you. Otherwise, they don't.
Yeah,
Some random person sitting out of somewhere who doesn't even resonate with my life or doesn't even want to create a life like me will definitely not resonate. So either they have to feel like, okay, I really want a life like this, I'm going to create it. Then is that where the follow comes. So it's really important to be real, but sometimes, to be very honest, even the negative sides should not be exaggerated too much. That also sometimes it's becoming a reason to track the attention and all of that. It should be very candid, it should be very real. And I feel that sensitivity has to be understood.
Yeah, of course. And when it comes to entrepreneurship, since that's like a very core thing that you have expertise in, so how important do you think to have a mentor is? Like, because a lot of people think starting a business or getting into the field of being an entrepreneur, self-sufficiency or like a good idea can just get you anywhere. But reaching out to the right people, there are seniors in this field, there are people who have expertise in this particular field. So reaching out to someone, asking for that mentorship, how important do you think that is?
Having a mentor is the most important thing for everybody and anybody. Okay, it could be of any scale.
Yeah.
But in our country, the term mentoring itself is a very new term because only hardly 5% of people do
People do it,
understand
yeah.
what is the value of having a mentor and what really what is mentorship actually.
Yeah.
Okay, mentorship is not teaching. Mentorship is not what we get in our school or college. Okay, mentorship is telling people through the process of learning to do, what not to do, how to do, and how better you can do.
Got it.
Right? So that is mentorship. And mentorship starts after your education.
Okay.
Right? And lot of people think once they are done education, I'm done learning. Which is the worst thing they can do about their life.
Got it.
I think learning has to be until eternity. Until you leave, you should be open to learning. And the person who says, I know everything, is the person who will never be open to grow.
Got it.
Right? So it's really, really important to understand what mentorship is. Mentorship is like, for example, you are a fashion designer and you want to start a boutique and you want to run it successfully. You would have completed your fashion designing course from a very big college, right? And you learn the art of it, you learn the technicalities of it, and you start your boutique. Here, when you start your boutique, it's not only the technique, the fashion elements that you have learned is very important. Here, you need to learn boutique management. You need to learn marketing. You need to learn sales. You need to learn team management. You need to learn accounting.
That's true.
This is where a lot of people fail. I've trained a lot of women entrepreneurs where I've seen them failing only because they know their skill very, very well. As makeup artists, interior designers, or it could be anything, graphic designers, starting their own firms. They know their art, they know their skill very well, but they don't know how to run the business. There's chefs who start restaurants and they love to cook and they start business, but they really don't understand how to bring people into the restaurant. Who's going to eat your food, even if you're cooking the best of the best food,
That's
right?
true.
So it's really, really important to get the right skills which is required to run a business as an entrepreneur, whether it's a small business or it's a big business. It's important. And second thing, find the people who have already done what you want to do. Okay. For example, you're starting a restaurant and want to have a target of achieving a 10 lakh per month revenue or a sales. So you need to find mentors who have already done it, who have set up that system. Okay, no businesses fail. If you have the right system, right people in place, no business fails.
As you rightly said, Spoorthi, about entrepreneurship, you need to have that right guidance and that right mentorship. But also, there's some research that suggests that even if you have a great idea, a great business mind to run a business, to start something new, if you coming from a good socio-economic background, if you have a good dominance over the industry already, then you're likely to succeed more. So do you agree with it, or do you think it's not exactly the way you should look at it?
See, facts have to be accepted as it is. Okay,
Yeah.
if you already have the privilege of having some support background or a financial, funding from your own family, or you have that kind of a support, yes, the stepping stone becomes easier.
Yeah.
For someone who doesn't have money, who doesn't have a background, who doesn't have a parental guidance, or there's so many families who don't even have an idea what entrepreneurship is.
Yes.
Because the families don't. In my case itself, if you ask me, I've not seen a single entrepreneur in my house. Okay, my mother is a commercial tax officer, my aunt is an officer at commercial taxes department, my another aunt is in banking sector, my uncle and another aunt is from they're from engineering background into corporate. So everybody is educated, everybody is into jobs. Okay, and I've seen them doing this for 30 long years.
Okay.
And not a single entrepreneur. Okay, so where do I really go and ask for support in my family? It's not possible. But if that would have been different for me, if my mom or my uncle or somebody from the family is already having an existing business, it becomes easy for me to access, to understand the capital investment, to understand the operations, to understand what it really takes to put your skin into the business, right? So there is always a privilege for somebody who's already got that initial support from the family or the background that is already existing. But it always depends on how they take it forward.
Yeah.
The possibilities of both of them to win, there's a possibility of both of them to fail.
As well.
Even if you're coming from extraordinary background, a privilege of father being able to fund 10 CR into your startup, I've seen people failing. Okay, and I've seen people taking that business to a very small extent and even though there is a huge potential of growing and expanding and going throughout the going national or global, I've seen people saying, okay, I'm happy with it.
Okay.
There's high possibility of they feeling contented. But the person who comes with zero background is the person who says, okay, I'm gonna go push myself harder.
Yes.
It is very subjective.
I think that potential factor is very important, because a lot of the times, a lot of the startups that we have seen failing, the thing is that they'll start with a good idea, they'll start with a good amount of funding, they'll have like a good support and everything. But the moment they reach a position where they have to now decide on how can they scale, how can they do better with what they already have, is where a lot of people just give up.
Yeah.
So that's actually, I feel like not the beginning of a startup. I think it's the maintenance of.
It's also about the exaggeration that comes with the bigger handling bigger teams.
Yeah.
But that's where entrepreneurs and startup owners have to become smarter. Here is where you need to play smart and hire smarter people than you.
Yes.
There is where a lot of people fail because they start tending that they have to do everything.
Yeah.
And they want to be involved in everything.
Yes.
And here is when they have to start creating second layer of leaders who think like them for their own businesses.
Yes.
Right? They want to create somebody who handles marketing, and they just have to kind of be that person who takes becomes an accounting partner.
True.
There should be layers who handle everything else.
Yes.
So the delegation and building the second layer leader becomes very important after a certain point of a time, so that you don't feel exhausted and you're like, okay, it's getting too much for me, let me relax.
Yeah.
I've seen people, recently I came across a lady who's been running preschools from almost 20 years.
Oh.
Right? And when I was having a meeting, there was a huge potential of expanding and, putting it across and things like that. But I could see that sense of, exhaustion and, I think I've been doing this for 15 years. Now I'm like, I am done. This is a kind of words that I heard. And I was like, okay, there's so much of potential. Why are you still doing it after 15 years?
Yeah, why
you should not be doing it.
Exactly.
If you're still doing it after 15 years, it means you have not done it well.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So you need to have people who do it for you.
I think that responsibility sharing thing, like where you assign a task to somebody else and now you're trusting this person with this particular thing, and that is important. And also when it comes to a lot of small businesses that start up, I think once they start and they get that virality factor, once they start being trending over the internet and everything, smart people will find like a better partner to partner with, or like a better investor to invest in it. They wouldn't just be like, okay, I'm going to handle everything by myself, keep everything to myself. I don't think that's the right strategy to go about it.
I think it's a very interesting point that you've brought in. To be very honest, I've been running business from almost 15 years. Even if you ask me now, I'm miserable in financial management and accounting, okay? I don't understand a bit of it. Though I understand everything about numbers, I tell my team only bring the final numbers to me. Apart from that, I'm not getting into anything because I am miserable when it comes to money management. Okay, I should not be saying this. I always keep telling myself, okay, I should not say this, but still I know this is not my expertise. Right? You give me branding and marketing, I'm gonna kill it. You give me execution, I can master that art.
Yeah.
But when it comes to I can't do sales. I mean, I'm very 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 reluctant toward asking money or pitching something or something like that. There's a different aspects that comes into picture. But I have right kind of people who do it better than me in every single way. They can sell my product better than me.
Yeah.
Right? They can do accounting for my business better than me. So it's really important to have smarter people. Entrepreneurs have to hire smarter people than them.
That's true.
So that's when, but you should let go your ego there. Okay, this guy is smarter than me. Oh, fantastic. That's the attitude you gotta come into.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And since you mentioned that, you are mentoring entrepreneurs, and then there's like a women empowerment thing that I can see here, sense here. So when it comes to that, I'm sure like you come across a lot of potential women out there who have like a lot to give. So is there like a very common thing that you see among everybody, or like is there something that you have noticed that people who've not been mentored or not been guided, they're coming new to you and then they have all this potential inside, but is that there's like a sense of fear of will they succeed or will they not? So is that something that you've noticed commonly among everybody, or is it something?
A lot. Yeah. See, some somebody who comes to me, honestly, I want to be very frank. Here, I don't train people who are already reached a certain way. I train people who want to reach certain level. Okay. So these are aspirants. These are women who have high drive. And most of my students are not somebody who's coming already with a privilege of family saying, okay, take this 2 lakh rupees, take this 3 lakh rupees, go get mentored. Okay. These are women. I have seen people, I've seen my students even, pledging their own gold and attending workshops, and that's the level of commitment that I have seen in my students. Okay. And these are women who want to do it but absolutely have zero background and support. Okay. I don't say, I mean, at least 80% of my students are like that. And the kind of drive that they have is immense. Okay. It also comes with a lot of humiliation that they have seen. It also comes with a lot of holding back that they have experienced in their house, and it also comes with the limited opportunities that they have got all through their life.
Yes.
Okay. So it's like, okay, I have come here, now is my time. And that point of a time is when my students come into Dream Big Academy. And once they come in, I see that high drive. But when I actually go dig into understanding what is their psychology, what is their thought process behind it, there's a deep trauma inside them. There's a childhood fear that they have carried, and there's something like, I want to prove it for somebody else. All of these things. The first thing we do in our organization is we break all that. Don't do it for somebody else. Okay, don't do it to prove it to somebody else.
And since you mentioned about event management, and that's something that you have like very good expertise in, so is there like a common misconception that you've seen when it comes to people adopting event management as a career, or has it been, because event management is not something that everybody looks forward to as a career path right after college or something, because everybody sees like all the other corporate jobs or any other thing that leads them to like a future in growth and promotions and everything as like a career path. And when it comes to event management, you start from scratch. You don't you'll not be put into like a pedestal on event management career. You'll have to start from scratch. There's a lot of things that will go into the learning. There'll be a lot of rejections on the way. So it's a like trial and error career. So what is a misconception that you see in this?
So I would like to say that event management is a $1 billion industry in India today. Okay, it's one of the biggest industries, and it's one of the fastest growing industries. Okay, 10 years ago when I got married, out of 10, maybe one person used to opt for wedding planner. Now out of 10, 7 people opt for wedding planners. Okay, before there used to be like percentage was just 10 to 20%. Now it's 70 to 80% because people don't have time. Okay, and in India every day, okay, this is according to a study from one of the major data source, 60,000 kids are born every single day in the country. 60,000 kids, and into 365. Okay, and every year you have a potential of celebrating 60,000 into 365. Even if you take 10% of it, imagine the numbers. Can't you get 5 birthday parties? And each birthday party can get you a revenue of at least 10,000 rupees, which you're making 50,000 rupees in a month. And every day 30,000 weddings happen in India. Right? And imagine the number of weddings that happen all over the country. Even if you limit it to your own circle. And there are about 1,200, not 1,200, I think 9,600 corporate companies in Bangalore alone. Right? And in that, every corporate company will have at least 2 events, which are mega events. Okay? Even if you crack one such event, it is equivalent to your annual salary. One such event. Okay? The event management industry is big, it's massive. But the problem and the challenge is there are no institutions who are training you with the right kind of academic curriculum which is required for event management. Okay, very few. I would not say there are no, there's no event management academy, but there are very few academies. And that's the gap we wanted to bridge, and we wanted to get the training done for right kind of people and give them access to right kind of companies where, it's not just that you start your own company immediately. You can even work for so many companies which are looking for skilled people. Get the skill, join some company, learn the art, learn the learn the structure of the business. Maybe after 1 year, 2 year, you can start your own.
Yes, of course. And when you compare this industry globally, like you said, the Indian market is now growing like rapidly now. But when you compare it globally, there's a more standardized structure that we see globally that's happening, because it's been followed for like quite some time now. And here it's like picking up now. There's standardization coming up now, but it's slowly picking up. So when it comes to all these people who are preferring planners and who are preferring like event organizers and everything, do you feel like that since there is a lack of standardization there, that is becoming a challenge like for planners, because when they put like a quotation out there, when they explain all of these requirements to them, there's more potential for them to defend like why would you require so much?
True, I agree with you, because here the challenge is the prices have increased, but the mindset of people have not increased. Okay, you see some I know it gets offensive to a lot of people by hearing this, but it's the fact. You see some picture on Pinterest, you see some picture on some luxury event planner page, you come back to a beginner and ask them for the same. It's going to cost you about $1.5 for just one simple haldi decor. Let's take an example. And their expectation is do it in 25,000. How do you really expect such extravagant decor to be done in 25,000? And they don't understand. The point is that, they don't really go to check how much is the cost of each of it.
Yeah.
Right? And quality comes with cost. Quality comes at a cost.
Yes.
It has a price tag. So it's really, really important for the client also to understand that, in your budget, what can be delivered, expect that. Please don't expect something, a 1 lakh decor in 20,000 rupees or 30,000 rupees. This is one of the biggest challenges I have seen with a lot of eventpreneurs who start their career. That is one challenge. Second, there's a lot of negotiation happens. That is because there's no fixed price or structure in this, and markets standard pricing, it's not there. But however, smart people overcross all of this.
Yes.
You need to decide what is the kind of audience, what is the kind of clients that you really want to work. Whether you want to work with mid-spec segment or a luxury segment or a basic segment. So that is something the entrepreneur has to come into a clarity. Okay, and the moment you speak to somebody, your brand messaging has to be so clear that the client should not have the courage to ask you for such less price.
I think that flow is important.
Yeah, that flow
you can not be like out of work. You should have something, like even if it's not really coming to you, if it's come through to somebody else also, if you're collaborating with them in one way or the other, you're working all the time. I think that is very important. Yes, definitely. And since you mentioned that you have like a team that's a women team here, so I know we are breaking boundaries every day. Like every day we go through stories, we go through a lot of these success case studies where women have been breaking boundaries. So I just want to understand like this whole thing about discrimination, like women not being taken seriously in fields like even management, when it's like a very responsible field, and there's a lot of questions to be questioning that comes around. Like if something goes wrong, if it's a little small thing that goes wrong, a lot of people come and question the manager or like the event organizer. So in such a field, now that women are taking responsibility, women are coming up in front and being like the boss of the team, do you think that shift happened gradually, or like how did the whole narrative change?
Honestly, in Karnataka, I have been doing this in Bangalore and different cities of Karnataka from almost, I think, 14 years. And it's made me feel so safe, so comfortable, and so nice. Everybody here is very welcoming, and they've been really, really, really sweet and very supportive, including all my vendors, manpower, everybody. I'm still working with a lot of people who has done events for me for the very first event. Okay, I'm in very good relationship is something I value the most in any business that I do. So they're still with me. But I have still worked with some others. I don't want to make it city biased, but when I have, in fact, recently also, 2 months ago, I did an event in a different city. I don't want to name the city. But when I went there was a lot of male ego that was not ready to accept a woman being the director of the event. Right? And I could literally feel it. The moment I told, okay, this is not supposed to be like this is supposed to change, you don't know. You know, the whole mentality comes in, ye ladki hai, how will she know about it?
Yeah.
I said, listen, stop, hold on. And you can't even put it in a way that, okay, I've done it from 15 years, listen to me. You need to become a person who says, okay, Anna, I know this, you please understand, please do it. You know, because you have to get the work done by them, and the next day you're supposed to go live with a very massive event. Right? So in that time, how you behave, how you respond, and how you put your own egos of having that 14 years of experience, all that comes into picture. And, you know, I was so responsive that time, and, you know, it just spiked up. And that moment, I somehow kept quiet. I said, okay, what you're saying is right. You do what you're doing and tell me what you're doing. I'll handle my team accordingly. And then I went down, and Meetime was like, was that you who didn't react? Like, yes, it was me. So when you're in a different city, when you're with different people, when you want to kind of collaborate and things, you know, bring things into picture, you need to be adaptable as a leader.
Yeah, you just find that middle ground where you can reason with them. That's true. Yes. If I'm not wrong, you have founded an awards committee also, right? I just want to understand. So, like, you are also an award recipient of the 30 Under 30 award and everything. So, where did that spark from? Like, your, you bringing up a new awards into this picture, and then you've been recognizing a lot of women in the industry for that matter. So, where did that spark from?
Well, Safana, the beginning was, I have been an entrepreneur, I have been an actor, and, I've been a proactive working professional ever since 16.
Okay.
And at 23, a lot of my audience know this, at 23, I had 3 choices. I had got a very good Tamil film offer. I had also an opportunity to go to ESC Po in France for my higher education, that is MBA exchange program. The third option is I could get married. I said, I'm going to leave everything, I'm going to get married. Okay, I got married at 23. And the previous day of my wedding, I was an entrepreneur, I was a business owner, I was an actor. And the next day, I became a housewife. I don't know, even if I think back now, why did I stop everything? I have no answer. I literally stopped everything. Is it because somebody told me to stop? No. It's because I thought I had to stop after marriage, at least 10 years ago. Okay? And I didn't do anything after marriage. For almost 2.5 years, I had my baby after 2 years. After that is when, I started, having that internal struggles. Okay, Spoorthi, this is not you. You are doing something, you're born for something else, Nothing wrong in just being an housewife or a mother. It's amazing. If they're enjoying doing it, it's fantastic. But I was not happy being only that.
Yes.
Right? I wanted to create an identity for myself. And when somebody asked me, what do you do? I had nothing to answer. So that is when I was thinking, okay, somebody who had all the privilege, a background with a completely educated family, who's everybody is a working professional, including my own mom is scaled up to a level where she's an officer today. What the hell am I doing?
Exactly.
And if this happened to me, I was just I just kept thinking, what's the story of thousands and millions of women in our country who's shedding their dreams in their 4 corners just because they're women and just because they're married, just because they have a baby?
True.
Right? And that thought process made me think a lot. And that's when I decided, okay, there are so many women out there who have done exceptional work in spite of all the challenges that they have had in their life. Okay? I think out of 10, only 1 woman is privileged who says that I don't have any problems. Okay? And 9 women have the problem. Either they have a problem of, not having any support to take care of the child. Some women having a very toxic environment in the house with their in-laws. Some women having absolutely a toxic partner. And some men also having toxic partners. So I'm not being biased in that way. I'm just speaking about the awards, why it came up. And some women, not having any kind of idea how to do about it. So, the people who have achieved already had the same issues.
Yes.
They also started from that, and somebody who's achieved it big today had bigger problems than us of our generation who are millennials or Gen Z now.
Yes.
Now at least we can speak. Women then couldn't even speak up for themselves. Women then couldn't even, get out of their house. They had to get back at 5 o'clock. That was their highest, limit of going back home. We don't have those problems today.
Yeah.
And still we are cribbing, still we are complaining that I have this, I have that. People say, okay, I don't have support to take care of my kid. Then get the skills when you're taking care of the kid and get a job where you can hire somebody to take care of your kid, or get a nice place where your kid can be safe.
True.
Or get somebody who can support you in all of this, right? So why it came up is I started seeing so many women out there, and I started speaking to them and understood that they had the same problems.
Yeah.
And they've overcome all of this. My only intention to start this was to tell their stories out to the world. Look at these women. They had the same problems.
Yeah.
Okay? And they have done it. And they're being recognized today. Get the inspiration and do it.
Yeah.
Okay? And if you're somebody at home who's wanting to achieve something and not taking action, then don't dream.
True.
Then don't dream big.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't sit and crib where you are.
Yeah.
Either be satisfied being a very good, amazing housewife, being a homemaker, or work your ass off to get there and become a successful entrepreneur or whatever you want to be. Okay? Being a housewife, aspiring to become an achiever and not taking actions. And there are women who are entrepreneurs who are doing very well and feeling guilty about not being a successful homemaker.
Yeah.
I am a pathetic homemaker. Okay? I'm a pathetic homemaker. I am not a, great mom. Okay? I'm not telling that I am not a great mom. I'm saying I am not a great mom which is equivalent to the society standards.
Standards, yes.
Right? Like a woman, a mother is supposed to do certain things. A mother is supposed to do certain things. Even if you're going at 10 o'clock in the morning and coming back in the evening at 8 o'clock, you are supposed to do certain things at home.
Yes.
And you are bound to do this. And if you don't do that, you're not a good mom.
Yeah. That's the
And
notion.
I absolutely don't feel guilty about it. Even if anybody names me, I'm not a good mother.
Yeah.
Right? What I've been able to do as a woman, I'm extremely proud of it. And what kind of career and guidance that I can give my daughter, the kind of skills that I can give my daughter, I'm sure she'll be proud of me one day.
That's true.
And maybe she'll not crib about me that my mom did not give me, did not tell me stories during my bedtime.
Got it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I do my best. But even after having an exhausted whole day, I can't be that best mom at home every day.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to tell these stories. Don't feel guilty of who you are. If you want to become something, try getting there with the right kind of skills. So that's the whole reason I started it. And we started in a very small way back in 2017. And I really didn't imagine, at that point of a time, I didn't imagine that it would go so big. Because we've done it for 7 long years, and we are extremely, extremely proud that in the era of awards getting sold left, right and center everywhere, the moment you receive an award, you receive an email about a nomination, नीचे लिखा होता है कि इतना prize है and this is the GST amount for it. So I strongly believe that awards have to be earned and not to be bought.
Yeah.
And with this philosophy is what we started Karnataka Women Achievers Awards and Indian Women Achievers Awards, and we are very, very proud of it that we have done it in a very non-commercial way, and we have recognized extraordinarily commendable women in this journey of 7 years.
That's very inspirational also, and especially in a society where achieving something is often perceived as like, oh, okay, you're doing big, or it's an insecurity triggering thing. But here we are women supporting women, yes, and women recognizing women, and that recognition factor itself. If you see any corporate environment, any work environment, anywhere there is this whole rewards and recognition as a very mandatory factor now. Only if you recognize and you reward them for their contributions will they be able to scale up, will they be able to do better. And here also you're doing the same same thing. You are recognizing women so that other women can be inspired by it. I think
everybody likes validation, you know.
Yes.
Awards are a very good form of validation. You know, I've done something, and if somebody says that, okay, I've done a great job
at it.
Even it could be as small as, you know, you go cook at at your kitchen, and your husband comes and says, hey, that was a very good, you know, that tasted really good. It gives you a validation, and next time you feel like, you know, doing it with more efforts and more love, and, you know, you feel like giving a lot of interest. The same person, if he comes and says, it was pathetic, it was not good, your interest and your energy level goes down, and the next time you want to cook it, you'll become very, you know, you become very conscious about it. You start cooking with fear, and that ends up becoming more pathetic.
Yes.
Right? So it's a form of validation which all of us need, and it makes you feel good about the kind of hard work that you have done.
I'm sure like a lot of all the answers that you answered here, there's a lot of takeaways from each and everything. So like before we wrap up, I wanted like one more takeaway from this, and that's about now you said you're catering to people who are starting up, who have the potential and they want to grow better. So I want to know if there is any piece of advice that you have for people who have failed or like who consider themselves as somebody who started something and had to give up on it. So somebody who is in a state where they have given up or they have claimed themselves to be failed at it, what is your piece of advice to them?
There's nothing called failure. Okay. If you do something, you either win or you learn.
Okay.
There's no win and fail. Okay. You win, you become successful, or you learn. When you consider the learning experience as a failure and think that, okay, why did this happen to me? And, why did this happen only to me? Why did this happen like this to me? And did I deserve this? If these are the questions you ask yourself, then the answers will be, yes, you deserve it. You know, your mind starts saying that, okay, you deserve this, you're not fit for this, and then, you know, you don't come from this background, so it's not for you. These are the answers. Your mind itself will say, no, you're not fit to get there. The reversal, why did I fail? What did I do something like that because I failed, so that I can do it differently this time, so that I can avoid the chances and possibilities of failure.
Yeah, it's a very thoughtful perspective you've put in my mind as well. and I'm sure I've had a lot of takeaways from this, and starting with it's not just an attitude level motivation that I should be looking forward to. Like you said, if I'm being guided or if I'm being mentored, the first thing that I should look up to is to gain a skill, to do something about a skill, gain experience in it, and then call myself an expert in it. So yes, thank you so much once again, Spoorthi.
Lovely talking to you. And this interview was very different from the regular interviews that I've done, and I'm really, really happy for the kind of questions we brought in, because this is going to be really productive for someone who's wanting to start. And I'm glad, and if I've been able to add some value, I'm very grateful for that.
Definitely. Thank you so much once again. I hope you had a nice time.
Thank you so much.
Now that's a wrap. We've had Spoorthi in the house, and I've had so many takeaways from this video. I hope you had a great time listening to us as well. Now, if you're someone who wants to start a career as an entrepreneur, or start a small business, this is your sign. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Kofluence channel. And for more such episodes, stay tuned. Until next time, stay happy, stay kind, and keep Kofluencing.